All right. Welcome everybody. It's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock, so we're going to start. Welcome from the lovely city of Muiden. That's me. I'm Terry van der Bemt. I'll be your host in this 1 hour. We're going to talk about sales, outbound sales, to be more precise. I got my founder, business partner with me, Davy Guit. Davy, Mr. Sales Development himself, as I call him. He's based in the lovely Amsterdam right now. And we're also joined by our sales director, Jamie from Bristol. Jamie.
Hey, Terry. I was confused when you said 4 o'clock. I realized it's 3 o'clock here.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry, we have that like all day, that kind of stuff. But good to have you. Good to have everybody in the webinar. I see people coming in. I've seen people, familiar people. I've seen people from the Nordics. I've seen people from England. So yeah, that's why we do it in English. And welcome everybody. I see Bastiaan Braber. Yeah, that's a special one. So it's always good to see him around. I see lots of people in, so that's nice. The coming hour, we're going to talk about outbound sales. If you have any questions or any challenges, please put them in the chat below. Yeah, so put them in the Q&A because Jamie is going to present a portion. Davey has something prepared. And after each slide show presentation, we have a short Q&A. So we can discuss several stuff. So don't be shy. I see people from Stockholm. Please put it in your challenges, your questions, and then we also have a Q&A in each section. So that's for today, and we're going to finish around 5. And before we start, first thing maybe it's good to know is that a short introduction about what we do with SalesLift. So you got a short video for 1.5 minutes that you get a little bit of insight of what SalesLift Studio actually is doing. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share a video with you, and after that I'm going to take it away. So here it comes.
When searching for growth, a predictable way of scaling sales is key. But sales development often fails in delivering a predictable amount of high-quality appointments every month. Modern sales development requires a specific skill set and strategy. Your account executives are probably not willing or capable of doing outbound prospecting themselves. And if they do, it will probably only have a short-term benefit. This is where SalesLift Studio jumps in. We know how to build a modern sales development machine that continuously generates appointments with your ideal customer in the most relevant and personal way possible. We orchestrate positive contact moments in a multi-channel strategy to start the conversation. The handover is a high-quality appointment directly scheduled in your calendar. Don't waste resources hiring and educating underperforming sales development reps. Spend your time wisely. Do you want to know how you can create a predictable way of scaling your sales? Please check our site or subscribe for a free growth scan.
Yes, that was a short intro from SalesLift Studio. In short, in addition to the clips you just watched, we do the beginning of the sales process. We do that for a lot of companies as an outsourcing service, but also with a lot of implementation and as a consultancy service. So in each way, so you have a little bit background of what part of the sales process we work on. It's all in the beginning. It's mainly outbound, also inbound, but our specialty of the house, as we say it in Dutch, is definitely outbound. So we're gonna have a couple of things to talk about in the upcoming 55 minutes. And I'm going to take you away with the webinar, and I'm going to share my screen again. And now we got this new nice feature on Zoom. Here it comes. Let me see. Here it comes. Yes, here it is. I'm here. I will make sure I'll keep small, but we're going to talk about how to build a modern outbound sales machine this hour. And first of all, I got two really handsome guys with me. Jamie, our sales director, from abroad, living in Bristol right now for a UK office. And of course, Davey, my business partner. Davey worked for several tech companies, and I like to call him Mr. Sales Development because he spent like years on strategizing and designing a system for outbound sales. And Jamie and Davey will both play a big part today. And I, Terry, the other founder of Sales Lift Studio, I will be the host of today and do a short introduction. For today, we have a couple of things we want to cover. First of all, our view on outbound prospecting or sales development, as you will call it. We're going to talk about how to set up the right strategy and the right playbook. We're going to talk a lot about how you can be personal on a mass scale. And we're going to end with Davey talking about what tech stack you need and what you don't need, and also about what workflow and stuff like that. It is, by the way, it is recorded. So the webinars will be recorded also for training purposes, but also to share. So we will share the recording of the webinar after, if you like. We have slides and we have some other stuff, some goodies. So if you want to have it, drop me an email or LinkedIn note, and I will make sure you get it. And like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. There's a Q&A after each presentation, so we can go into depth in some specific cases. So if you have any questions, please put it in. All right. First of all, good thing to keep in mind that we're going to roughly talk about three things. We're going to talk about people, we're going to talk about strategy, and we're going to talk about technology. And those three combined will bring you results. If one is missing, it's not going to work. So what you will find out that a proper outbound sales machine, if it has great people, but it lacks a strategy or lacks technology, it's not going to work. If you have some great people, no strategy, and some technology, it's also not going to work. So we're going to cover those three topics today to talk about people, skills, mindset, how you have to look at it. After that, Jamie is going to talk you through how to set up a real sales development strategy. So not a sales pitch, but a sales development strategy. And Dave is going to take it away with workflow and technology. And this will bring you the results. First thing to take into account, and I think the ones who read Predictable Revenue from Aaron Ross recognize this. What you see in most companies is that in the start of a company, there's some sort of organic growth. You grow and you just don't know how, because customers keep coming in via your network, via other customers, referrals. And there comes a moment that you get to this plafond, as we say in Dutch. And there comes the moment that you have to find, like, okay, now if I want to go to the next stage, I have to start sales. I have to start prospecting, outbound sales to get to the next level. And then 9 times out of 10, the hustle begins. So you're going to try all kinds of stuff. The whole company goes prospecting, then everybody is busy with sending out proposals, and you get all this kind of fluctuations in your pipeline and in your business. While what you really want to achieve is a stage of proactive growth. And for proactive growth, you need to have an organization and a system in place that will consequently provide you with a business meeting with the right people. So it's really predictable revenue, predictability. It's like a buzzword. It's really popular, but it is about finding the right system so that you have constantly a flow of meetings with the business people of your choosing. And as we talk about a modern outbound sales machine, the outcome we look at is you want to have that constant flow of the business meeting with the people of your choosing. So no inbound leads, but really like focused on the people you want to talk to, because when you find out that you have in a certain industry, a certain market, and you are able to get those meetings in, it becomes far more easier to predict your company, the revenue that's coming in, etc. So we'll be talking a lot about that today. For starters, for my part, I'm going to talk you through two things. First of all, a couple of ground rules. That's the first thing you have to take into account when doing outbound sales, doing sales development. And the second thing is we're going to talk a little bit about how do you organize sales development nowadays. And first thing is the ground rule. Ground rule number one, no automated bullshit. We all get like, I don't know how many LinkedIn messages or templified emails which are not personal. So the technology we're going to talk about is not designed to automate your outreach. The technology we're going to talk about is going to help you to make an efficient process so you can humanize at scale. It's not about sending automated outreach. It's not about LinkedIn bots. It's not working. Yeah. So no automated bullshit. What you want to do is set up a strategy, set up a workflow, set up technology so you can be human at scale and you can spend time personalizing and adding value to the lives of your prospect. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you want to be personal. There's no point in sending out emails that are not personal, sending out LinkedIn messages that don't match. There's no point in that. So what's going to be really important is, of course, you can use templates. But in every outreach you do, think about how you can personalize that template, how you can be personal to someone. So when someone sees or hears on the other side of the line that you put some effort into it, that you really did your research. So it's going to be about personalization. You have to be personal. The second thing, you want to be relevant, and that means you want to add value in the sales process. Yeah? I'm going to talk a little bit about how many steps it's going to take you later on to get a meeting, but you have to think about that if you want to get in touch with people, you want to add value in each step. And sending one nice email and 8 reminders to ask if someone read the email is not being relevant. Yeah? You want to add value in each step. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. And on the other hand, what you also want to be, you want to measure stuff. You want to make sure you learn from it and that it's insightful so you can scale the things that work and adapt the things that don't work. So besides that, it's really important that you measure stuff. That's also why the technology comes in to help you measure what works and what doesn't work. So you can scale your activities. That's ground rule number 2. We go to number 3. You can think or take into account that it's going to take you at least 9+ contact moments to get a meeting in, at least. So that means, like I said, if you have to take 9 contact moments, sending 1 email and 8 reminders is not adding value. So what you want to be there numbers of times, and in every contact moment, you want to add some value. Sending a nice case, sending a white paper, sending something else. And what's interesting is, and Jamie's going to talk to you about that as well, is when you know already up front, that's going to take you around 9 contact moments, and it can be 5, it can be 6, sometimes it's 15. There's no point to go for a call to action every time, because you already know it's going to take multiple times. And if you in every outreach, every contact moment, you go for call to action, people get annoyed very fast, and you won't get any further. So ground rule number 3 is, first thing is about 9+ contact moments. And the second thing is you need to have a variety of channels. You can't do it on one channel only. So that means you have to combine calling, emailing, LinkedIn, preferably even landing pages and chatbots, but you have to be there on a variety of channels. Yeah. So a single channel sales strategy is not good enough. You need to combine different channels to get meetings in. And that's the ground rule number 3. Number 4, what we also can say about is that sales development nowadays is like inbound marketing, but then upside down. So what you want to do is, with inbound marketing, you produce content in order to advertise and hope to get the right people in. And sales development right now is just the other way around. The only thing is you choose your target audience upfront. You choose upfront, right function title, the right level, and then in your sales approach, because you know already it's going to take you 9 steps at least, you're not only going from call to action, but you're going to use content to add value. So another ground rule is you have to think about, it's like email marketing, but just the other way around. All right. Other thing which is interesting is about the organization. So we have the ground rules first, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the organization. This one is also from Predictable Revenue from Aaron Ross. And what you see here nowadays, like especially all SaaS companies are structured like this, and also non-SaaS companies are getting towards a sales organization which consists of at least 3 roles. So you have your customer success, which is a really popular word for account management. And you have your account executives who are there to close the deal. And you have, really important, your sales development team who is there to get the continuous flow for qualified opportunities. So you have those 3 roles. What we see only nowadays is that it's a kind of simplified versus reality. Because what we see now, and that's pretty interesting, that a sales development rep, it's most of the time junior people. Like I'm 42, so that then junior is, but it's more like a starter. Lots of times it's a sales development role. People expect starters to take it on, which is actually strange because it's the most difficult part of the sales process. And besides that, it lacks a plan and it lacks the right support and the tech stack. So if you look at that organization, of course, you can work with sales development reps, with starters or medias. And to be honest, I prefer seniors because it's the most difficult part of the sales process. But in that case, it means that the organization, and this is a little bit how we do it, the sales development organization, putting in a sales development rep is not enough anymore. It's the complexity, the difficulty, the competition, it's too fierce. So that means that if you want to look at sales development, that you do not only need proper sales development, you also need someone, we call it the sales architect, someone who actually designs or helps with designing the sales development approach. You need sales ops because there's going to be a lot of data and tooling involved. And when you're part of a bigger company, you need some sort of account director, some sort of people to manage external, or maybe even more important, internal stakeholders. So who manage marketing, customer success, IT department. That's all is necessary for a sales development organization. And that means that if you're a bigger company, you can have them all. If you're a smaller company, it doesn't mean you have them all, but you have to at least be aware that this role has to be played. So that's a little bit about the outbound sales organization, what you need regarding the future. All right. We're going to Jamie for how to set up the right design in the playbook. Jamie is going to talk you through, like, okay, how do you actually do it? Jamie, take it away.
Hey everyone, just let me load up the slides here. Okay, hey everyone. I see, as Terry mentions, that we have people joining from all over the globe. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. As Terry explained as well, I'm the director here at SalesLift Studio, and a little bit of a formal introduction. I've got 10 years sales experience in startups, scale-ups, and household names, recently coming from 3 years working for the Expedia Group, that rival to Amsterdam guys of Booking.com. And if you'd like to target me as a prospect, just send me a personalized email about the gym. I'm always guaranteed to reply. And also feel free to add me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to answer any questions, sales orientated, that you may have moving forward. So I'm here today to introduce and walk you through the playbook. But firstly, what's a point of having a playbook? As Terry explained, new business comes in peaks and troughs. Companies wishing to grow can only rely on organic growth to take them so far. When this reaches its limit, there's panic, and suddenly a search for new business entails a scramble to prospect multiple leads in a short period of time that really leaves no time for personalization, follow-up, or really a consistent approach. The possession of a playbook allows you to identify and construct a strategy towards your ideal customer profile, adapt throughout the year, allowing for things like a seasonality, pitching seasons, etc. And most importantly, I think, deliver a consistent amount of incremental new business in addition to organic growth, eliminating these peaks and troughs that Terry explained earlier. Also bear in mind, please, that there's not one playbook. You can design numerous ones based on a variety of circumstances. For example, different audience, follow up on new business, inbound leads, different types of approach, so on and so forth. It's almost endless. So feel free to use the playbook in multiple different circumstances. So you know who to contact and you've got your pitch ready. So what? This might have worked a number of years ago or even just before COVID, but things have changed rapidly. Now you have to consider positive contact moments, which add value each time to your prospect life. What channels do this? You have to bear in mind as well that people now work from home. So they rely more on reviews and less on a salesperson persuasion tactics. You also have to be conscious as well of the journey you'll take your prospects on. If you know you'll contact them on 10 different occasions, does there really need to be a call to action on every single one of those? So, welcome to the playbook. This is the playbook, the foundation of prospect success. As you can see, left to right, it's separated into 5 main headings. You have the ideal customer profile, key indicators for success, engagement, storyline, and campaign. Ideal customer profile. Now, when identifying your ideal customer profile, also known as ICP, it's important to get all stakeholders' opinion. When we walk into a boardroom or all these different companies that we work with, there's one kind of thing that we see. It's the hippo, the highest paid person's opinion, who generally decides who to target, who to approach, so on and so forth. This doesn't necessarily mean it's correct or effective. So I'd highly recommend completing this section of the playbook independently and bringing all the ideas together from all the individuals within your company in order to determine a true ICP. From this true ICP, you're able to laser focus your target by compartmentalizing into 4 key categories. You have your target market, the country, the industry that they're in. You have the target persona, the job title, level of influence that they have in a company, or you can even focus it on an account-based playbook to actually target a specific company. Target number, how big is your target market and how long can these individuals sustain your campaign? And you also have the type of approach, what resonates with your target, and plan for constant execution over time. Now we move on to key indicators for success. I'll put a question out there. How many emails do you think C-level executives get per day? Just have a think. Constantly bombarded from left, right, and center. Follow-up question. How do you stand out amongst the noise? These key indicators for success enable you to catch the eye of your target, almost like a diamond to a magpie. You need material which focuses on the reasons to reach out, what's in it for me, what's in it for my company, why do I need to respond now, and in advance, anticipate and address any concerns and objections you may have, or sorry, they may have. Bear in mind that a lot of the outreach uses written word, so you need to objective handle in advance, as we can't persuade with our words like we would on a phone call. To summarize, you need to know your prospect inside and out, get inside their heads and find out their wants and needs. Engagement. Okay, take a step back and see what's up your sleeve. Engagement is segmented into 3 categories. Firstly, company intro. How do I clearly and concisely condense my company information and my unique selling points into an understandable paragraph, which is easily communicated with anyone I come across? Rule of thumb, write it on a post-it note. If you can't, It's not simple enough. Call to actions. Let's have a meeting is not the only call to action. There's various, from the strong to the weak, to the persuasive, to the passive. Ensure that you thought through all of these. And you need to make a decision based on what you're trying to tell and adapt the CTA accordingly. Content. Content is king. What engaging, interesting content do I have at my fingertips? And if I don't have any at my fingertips, what can I make? Bear in mind, you already understand your ideal customer profile. So tailor making content specifically for them will land much better than a generic spray and pray. The storyline. You need to craft this like an expert poet, taking your audience's hand and guiding them through from start to finish. Here you're able to gather all your aces and line them up, one at a time. From a nice, gentle company intro at the beginning to a highly impactful business case, you begin to understand where and when in the story you can insert this crucial material. Also give different options for your prospect to engage with. They don't like reading. Yeah, that's cool. Here's a video. Video is not their thing. Hey, here's an online webinar that you can sign up to. There's multiple options of highly relevant engagement breeds success. You are also able to construct a story based on multiple different angles. So key topics such as sustainability, different messaging for different personas, such as a CEO versus the marketing manager, and softer approaches, such as rather asking them for a meeting, ask for their insights on your topic. Finally, my top tip is to aim to pattern interrupt. This allows you to stand out from the crowd. How do we do this? Personalization is the best way to do so. So build into your campaign sections where you can personalize based on the individual's wants, desires, KPIs, so on and so forth. Personalization is key. The campaign. Within the final campaign segment, you need to lay out your positive contact moments like a grandmaster playing chess. You're in it for the long haul, you are calculated, and you are concise. You need to combine channels, as Terry mentioned. So an email-only campaign actually converts 70% less than one that incorporates other outreach methods. So look towards LinkedIn, phone, landing pages, online chat, even carrier pigeon to ensure that your message reaches its mark. Relax. You need to relax. Prepare for no response. The average prospect responds after the 9th contact moment. So prepare for no response. The ultimate goal is to create a formula which churns predictable amount of meetings. So you know that if you enter 50 prospects into the sales machine, you shall receive 4 new business meetings. That's the end of the playbook. Now is the time to execute. Remember to constantly reevaluate your campaign on key metrics such as open reply rate in order to optimize and improve over time. So I hope you enjoyed this little journey that I took you through. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them out.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. Jamie, I got a question here. It's on via WhatsApp. Yeah, that's also possible from Bas from Adwinners. Yep. He's got a question because you're mentioning positive contact moments. Can you share like a little bit of secret, or what is one of your favorite campaigns, or how would you what you know works? Because you talk about a couple of things, but if you would say, like, if you would make it concrete, what would be a sales campaign you would write or will do for people?
So if I was to make that concrete, one of the main things that I absolutely love is the personalization. So you might have multiple different channels as you roll through from top to bottom of the sales one, but I believe the first contact moment is the most important. So I spend between 5, 10, even 15 plus minutes actually understanding each of the individuals, what their wants, needs, and desires are, completely tailor making it to them. So within that very first email, they understand that it's meant for me as an individual. After that, we run through, for example, LinkedIn views, LinkedIn messages, then it might be a phone call, whatever makes sense. And what I find works incredibly well as well is a highly impactful business case. So after the first couple of emails, rather than just a follow-up, and a follow-up, oh, here's a highly relevant business case that I think is directly relevant for you as an individual.
Yeah, but
and that normally gets a good amount of responses.
So if I'm correctly, does that mean that you send out, like, for instance, after an introduction email, you send out a business case after to get their attention again?
That is correct. So you might have a business case, you might have a brief follow-up, and then I try to call it a double whammy. So then there's a LinkedIn ad at the same time as a further email, which then displays a completely different angle, such as a video or a business case.
All right. Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, everybody. We're going to continue because we got Mr. Sales Development himself already behind the wheels. Davey, one of the founders of Sales Studio, the most handsome one. And he works for like over 6, 7, 8 years in tech companies as the CCO, mainly focused on the beginning of the sales process. And Davey is going to take it away with regards to tech stack, workflow, stuff like that. Davey, the digital floor is yours.
Yes, thank you for your introduction. So that saves me some time. But indeed, 7 years ago, I started implementing outbound sales strategies in a modern way at several tech companies. And basically, since then, I'm working on optimizing it every time through the years. So things are changing, and I'm trying to optimizing these campaigns all the time. First for brands, for the technology companies I worked for, and now for our clients, of course. But as you already mentioned, Terry, you can start working on your technology once you have a strategy in place, because without the strategy, it doesn't make any sense to start selecting your tech stack. But as you can see on this slide, the sales technology landscape can be overwhelming, especially when you're not really sure what you need, of course. So, it can help you in your workflow to make your process more efficient and from better quality, but it's hard to find exactly what you need. So this visual is very small, but the landscape is divided in multiple categories like lead searching, sales engagement, content management, CRM, sales intelligence, etc. So it's huge. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did a poll on LinkedIn with this question: what is the main reason why it's hard to build a predictable modern sales machine? And the answer is here. So in a lot of cases, it's because there is no strategy. And when there is no strategy, it's super hard to find the right tech stack that is bringing in the results together with the people in place and the strategy in place. So the starting point of selecting your tech stack is making sure your strategy is ready. Because in your strategy, you define who you want to reach. Is it an account-based program? Is it based on persona? Or are you going for an individual sales strategy? And these criteria define what kind of technology you need. So we did another poll. And this time the question was, you're in the market, you decide to extend your tech stack, but what is most important in your decision-making process? And basically this is besides you have strategy in place. So the most important thing, and luckily 90% of the crowd was agreeing with this, it should be compatible with the rest of your tech. So how it is connected in your workflow is super important when you are on the market to select different kind of tools. But how does it fit in your workflow? So in your strategy, step by step, you define the sales development process. and you're able to start the right tooling for the different steps in your workflow. But every time you have to think about your ultimate goal in every step of the process. And based on your demands, you can set the criteria. So it's not it's all about your criteria, and it's not it doesn't matter what kind of review you have on any kind of platform. And as an example, you probably know the tool Lucia. It's a well-known tool to find contact details of individuals, and they are famous. They have a very good rating on every platform. It's super positive. The quality is super good, but the credits are limited. So in our case, for us as an agency, where we need to service a lot of clients, we need to have more credits to service our clients. So in this case, the best rated tool was not the one to go for in our workflow. To give you an insight in our workflow and also to make it tangible, what we do, we just show it. I was also a bit surprised when we wrote this down, that we use so many different tools in so many different categories, but they are all connected. And these are the steps we take in our sales process to help our clients and to build a modern sales machine. And as you can see, they are divided in 6 categories. So we use tools to source leads and accounts. We use tools to build our lead list and enrich them with the right data. We use different kind of platforms for sales engagement. We use tooling to personalize with videos. Everything we do, the quality is super important. So we have some tools to test the quality of our outbound campaigns, the templates, and email deliverability. And in the end, of course, it's connected to a CRM system and attached with an online signing tool. Step by step, I will tell you a bit more about. Hey, this is annoying. I get a pop-up, so I cannot move forward. Step by step, I will talk you through the tools we use. So in our case, the first tool we need is a tool where we can find the right accounts, the right prospects in the first step. So what data source can I use to discover my addressable market? For 90% of our clients, we use LinkedIn Sales Navigator as a starting point, but there are exceptions. So when there is a very specific market, a small market which is not where you cannot define it with the criteria that LinkedIn can offer you, we use another tool, Itina, where you can find similar companies based on email or based on websites. For all the other campaigns, we can use a Sales Navigator. But there's another exception, for example, where you want to reach out to a target audience in Germany, where LinkedIn is not that well known as in the rest of Europe, or some of the personas at least are not using LinkedIn as we do, then it's better to connect it to a different kind of tool where you start with the German Chamber of Commerce, for example. When we go to the next page, you can see the filter settings you can use in Sales Navigator. So this is probably a familiar picture for most of you, but in Sales Navigator, you get a whole set of criteria to segment your lead list. So you can search for keywords, you can search for region, pick an industry, function titles, company growth, etc. You can make very precise lead lists to make your addressable market visible. And it's focused on leads, but it's also focused on accounts. So you can use them both, and you can also combine them. When we go to the next step in our process, it's getting a bit more complicated. So we use in the past, we used a lot of different tools to verify our lead list. and to enrich it with right contact information. But it was limited. So we used SalesLoft as a database. We used LeadIQ to extract data from LinkedIn, enrich it with contact details. We used Hunter for the format of the email address. We checked LinkedIn if this person was still working at the same company. We checked Google if the domain was correct, and we checked our own database if it was already a prospect or account we already know. So we decided to develop our own tool. It's called Lead Studio. And basically it's a platform where we connect all these different kind of data sources in the backend. And our sales developers can work from the same environment. And all these different checks and all these different databases are done automatically. So it saves us a lot of time when we try to extract data, import data, and enrich it with the right contact information and the right research. Then once your lead list is ready, it's time to add it in your sales engagement platform. So the sales engagement platform is basically your main engine where you orchestrate these positive contact moments in a multi-channel outreach. This is where you create your campaign in sort of a drip down. And we use different kind of tools for that. Outreach, SalesLoft, and Lemlist, they all have different features. But since 7 years, I have experience with SalesLoft, and that's the tool we use the most. And the user interface is super handy and very easy, of course. And in the next slide, you see an example of a campaign. So this is a very simple campaign because I had not enough room to show the complex ones. But you see highlighted, you see the days and a step per day, and these are all predefined steps. But basically, what you do is based on the activity in the campaign, you decide what's the next step to take, what's the next action to take. So if you see that your email is getting forwarded to colleagues, or you see a high open rate but no reply yet, then you can decide to take the next step sooner, or you can do personalized touch on LinkedIn to make sure they see you stay on the radar. And in this case, you see multiple steps via LinkedIn, email, landing pages, connection requests, etc. What we add to the campaigns is personalization, not only in text, but also by video. So this is Jamie again. He was working on some personalization videos of content animators, and we took a screenshot. So in this case, we use Vidyard to make videos and screenshots like Jamie did, but we also use Zoom to make a sort of a screen video of personal presentations for the prospect. And we add them to the templates in the campaigns. What I already told earlier is that quality is super important for us. So your campaign is now ready to go. It's all done in SalesLoft. Prospects are in. You created your templates, and you only have to press play. But before you do that, we want to test the quality of the domain, the quality of the templates, the quality of the content, basically everything we need to land in the inbox and reach the prospects. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So to test templates and to test emails, we use Mail Tester, but we also use Clock Apps. And Clock Apps is a more complex tool where we test DNS settings. This is getting very technical, but super important, and that's why you also have to involve your IT department. When you set up SalesLoft, it's important that everything is configured so you can end up in the inbox of your prospect instead of the spam. But it also gives you the insight how to structure your email. Do you add too much links or too big images in your email, then it will end up in spam. So it gives you all the insights to craft the perfect email template for your prospect. So once you're ready and you are working on the engagement, you're having conversations with your ideal prospect, they are ready for a meeting, then it's time to add them to your CRM system. Now, in our case, it's Pipedrive. It's connected to our G Suite. So once we are in contact, it's super easily to add it to the pipeline, add contact information, and follow the steps in the pipeline to finally convert the lead into a client, of course. And once you convert the lead into a client, then documents needs to be signed, etc. That's also integrated in Pipedrive. So you can use sign requests as an e-signing program to share your documents a digital way. They can sign it on the laptop, send them back, and it's all covered in your Pipedrive. All the information of your client, of your prospect, is in one place, and you don't have to search for it later on. This is the workflow of our tech stack. So we have 15 tools divided in 6 steps in our process. So they are all handpicked, and it's all based on our strategy and the ability of integration with the other tools in our tech stack. So it's all connected. We have one overview in a dashboard where we can measure all the activities in every tool and every step we take. And that's what makes sure we can optimize our outreach for the clients on a daily basis. We directly know what's happening all the time in every step in the process. And that's also my final slide. And we are going to end the way we started. And that's again a reminder that once you start creating modern sales development machines, 3 topics are super important to cover. So the right sales organization with the right people and the right knowledge, a proper strategy, and a technology that is connected to your strategy and compatible with the rest of your tech stack already in place. And if you have that all covered, then results will come in eventually. That's it.
All right, Davey. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Davey, I got a lot of questions for you. So I think now is the good time to have a couple. First thing I like is a question from Up who says like, yeah, but things like outreach and automated tools, SalesLoft, they are there just to do large scale sequencing. So can you explain a little bit more about how you use SalesLoft or outreach, or how you use a sales engagement platform?
Yeah, so what it helps you with the structure of your workflow. The way it helps you to follow the structure and the execution, the way you thought about it in your strategy. So we have a lot of clients who are reaching out to individuals, not on a mass scale, but also on a small amount of prospects. But what you do is you can create a campaign with templates or without templates, but you can also just create steps in the workflow and leave the templates empty. It forces you to get on the radar every time because you get a to-do list and you just see which individual is in which stage of the process. Because when you just start with reaching out to all kinds of persons, if you don't measure it and you don't document it or report it somewhere, then you forget it. And now, because you can define the structure upfront, you can also reach out in a very qualitative way to individuals over time. And you can keep measuring everything, and it's not about the amount of people you add to the campaign.
All right.
It's consistent as well, right?
Yes, the consistency is super important in this case. And also testing what works and what not.
Yeah. Hey, and thanks up for responding. But you say my question is actually why not just do large scale automation on the first 9 moments until potential leads response? Why do it manually? And the reason for that is that if you automate everything, there won't be any room for personalization. And when there's no room for personalization, you will see that your conversion rates will be really low. And also maybe more important, you're also burning your own market. So that's why we use SalesLoft to help us work the process. Of course, we use templates, but in each template, we try to add something personal. So it's really specific for the other end of the line. That also means it's going to take more time, but because the strategy is designed and you use this kind of technology, you can personalize in an effective way.
Yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
And of course, you need to, you don't want to burn your leads, but you also want to learn from your outreach. So you want to optimize every week. You do a lot of A/B testing all the time to get a higher conversion rate. And if you really think this prospect is someone is matching your ideal customer profile, it deserves more attention than that.
Yeah, cool. Another question, which is interesting because this happens also a lot. Jesper, as a sales rep, I'm curious if it's possible to make my own sales development playbook, even though the company I work for does not have its USPs/target markets clearly defined. What's your answer to that?
Yes, of course. Yes. So
And actually, the playbook will help you define your USPs and define your target market. And also it's involving all the different stakeholders within the company where you can then come together and define that moving forward. So it's definitely a crutch that will help you actually with your outreach moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, and it will also, of course, it will take some time, and it will also take some persuasion. But if the company doesn't make it clear what the target market is, then it's up to you. And that's a nice thing that the playbook helps. You need to have that plan in order to be successful. Otherwise, it's just like Jamie said, pray and spray and stuff like that. Not working. All right. Hey, this also I like it. Why are you guys not working with HubSpot, Davey? Why are we not working with HubSpot?
that's a very good question, Teddy.
Yeah, why are we not working with HubSpot?
I think you have the answer on that, right?
Yeah, I think I do now. I think it's like Davey said. Okay, SalesLoft is like is our weapon of choice together with Outreach and Lemlist. But SalesLoft has a streepje voor, as we say in Dutch, because it's the most sophisticated tool out there. And of course, HubSpot also has sales automation features, but it's not as advanced as SalesLoft. So that's why we prefer SalesLoft. And also, we're an outbound sales company, so we started with outbound the day we started. So that also means there's no HubSpot, there's no inbound HubSpot integrated yet. So there are companies who have a totally integrated HubSpot, and before they start really working with SalesLoft, they test a little bit with HubSpot themselves. But yeah. All right, okay. There was another question I'm going to move to, and it's more a technical question, which I like. It was a question about, okay, guys, can you share some different call to actions? Yeah, because you talk about call to actions and showing content, but what are different ways of actually getting people to engage, getting meetings in? Jamie, do you have a couple? Maybe, Jamie, you have a couple of examples of how you actually,
I have plenty of examples.
Okay.
So a call to action is just breaking it down, asking someone to do an action. So it could be, for example, what's your opinion of this business model? So you're asking for their opinion. That would be their call to action. It could be to attend a webinar. It could be to attend a round table, something like that. Just anything where it kind of prompts a response, and it doesn't have to be, let's have a meeting, because there's multiple different variants, and it also depends on your business model. A call to action could simply be, can I send a sample of what I do? Can I send you a box of treats? Multiple different things, and each one provokes a different reaction. you're more likely to get yes if you're going to send a box of chocolates versus then a meeting. So perhaps a meeting request should come in later within your campaign versus right at the beginning where you're offering a box of chocolates.
And that's also why you want to use a sales engagement platform, so you actually can see with the same messaging which call to action resonates better. Because that's also interesting with target audience. No target audience is the same. So when you're going to test with call to actions, please test it, and you will see that in your industry, some things work better than in other industries. I got one final before we close it. That's a nice one because that's a current topic we are discussing here at Sales Dev Studio. It's from Yannick, who says, Yannick was really sharp. He says, yeah, I saw on the templates that, where is Yannick? Where are you? Where are you? Yes, I see the template start with, I hope you're well, or something similar. How's your experience with this? I saw some research that actually said it's the worst way to begin because that's the pop-up people see when they receive the email, which doesn't set you apart from the rest. Okay, we have this discussion internally. Davey, what's your opinion on Yannick's comment?
Well, we tested this a lot, and it differs per country. And how we start the template differs per persona and per country. And in the Netherlands, for example, we never start that way. Also when we're reaching out on behalf of an English company. But in the UK, it's slightly different. So we tested different paragraphs, openings, icebreakers, etc. And this one was the one that brought in the best result in the UK for one specific client. Mm-hmm. So there is no general this works best. So for every persona in every country, for every account, you have to test different kind of things, topics in your outreach. You can optimize, and you have to test it every week. So every time we set up a new campaign, we know already there are 10 different things we would like to test: subject lines, icebreakers, first paragraph, time of sending out the campaigns, etc. And per client, per country, per persona, per account, it differs.
All right, cool. Thanks, Davey. All right, guys and girls, everybody. We have to wrap it up since it's almost 5, and kids have to be picked up and stuff like that. So it's time to wrap it up. Jamie, Davey, thank you for your insights. Thanks to all the participants for joining us on this webinar and the questions and stuff like that. We got a couple of things. We got the recording of this webinar, we got the slide deck, and we got the sales development playbook that Jamie explained. We got that as an editable PDF. So if you like to have it, just drop me a LinkedIn message or an email at terry@salesdevstudio.com, and I will I send it over. I also had to mention that we do have some vacancies. So if you know somebody, a friend of a friend, who you find it might be interesting to work on modern sales machines, also drop me a note. Anything else, questions regarding outbound sales, we're always happy to chat and talk about that. So don't hesitate to reach out. If your question was not answered, sorry, we couldn't get them all in, but please contact me. It's always good and fun to talk about doing sales. So thanks again, everybody, for watching, attending, asking questions. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back. Oh, there it is. We'll be back soon. Yes. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for hosting, Terry, as well.
Nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.